First of all, I want to introduce myself to you. My name is Eric Auger. I'm the Director of Research and Development here at American Business Systems. And again, we're looking at this webinar today and looking to start your own business. What questions should you be asking? So again, this is to help you qualify yourself to see what you need to be doing, maybe plug in some holes of some things of your own due diligence that you need to be doing. So I'm going to actually ask Patrick to come on board with us here, video-wise. Patrick, it's good to see you here this afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Can't wait to get into this one, Eric. This is a good one for people looking to get their own business started. They need to be asking these questions we're going to cover today.
You bet. You bet. I mean, we've already got questions coming in about, when's the classes maybe for the fall. I can't make the next 2 classes. So, Phil, we're going to have to kind of do some digging and try to figure out when those classes are going to be coming up. So we'll certainly take a look at that while we're doing the webinar. But Patrick, this is good because it kind of, like I said, it kind of turns the table on people trying to qualify us here at ABS. This is a good one for people, and for you being a coach with several entrepreneurs through your life. These are some of the things that you actually ask other entrepreneurs.
Yeah, you can't just jump into a business without really doing what they call the due diligence, right? And so some of these questions are things that you should be asking, not just us, if you're thinking about getting into our business, but any business, any franchise even that's out there. It's just things people sometimes don't think about. So folks, you might want to take some notes today. These are good questions to ask any business that you're thinking about investing in.
You bet. Now, Patrick, one of the things that you and I wanted to talk about here before we actually started looking at this was some information that actually came out from 3M. And this was just a month or so ago. And it talked about the current state of medical coding, which also it has to do with medical billing. Let's just kind of go through this because this is a great little info graph that we can kind of go through. But it's kind of talking about the shortage of coders and billers and everything else that's going on here.
Well, let's start with that number in the bottom left there. 20%, it says this is one of the 20 fastest growing occupations medical coding is. Now, the great thing, folks, if you've looked at our website, is that you don't really have to know anything about the coding. We're pointing this out just so you'll know that you're in the right industry, right? Anybody who needs the top 20 fastest growing occupations in the United States, this at least is one business you should be looking at very carefully.
Yeah, and then, I mean, there's an increase from 2014 to 2024, so at least another 15%. If we go to the next one here, I mean, these are some things that we talk about all the time, especially the one down here at the bottom about the baby boomers. We're always talking about that.
Yeah, I happen to fall into that baby boomer category. I think it's anybody born between 1949 and 1964. And as they are retiring right now, by the way, it says something like 10,000 baby boomers a day in the United States are retiring. Any business that has to do with baby boomers is going to boom because, people get older. As my son says to me sometimes, Dad, parts stop working. So when the parts stop working, you got to go see the doctor, right? And that just means that, 81.7 million Americans will enroll in Medicare by 2030. So it's just a huge growth industry. Again, the reason you should look into our business, folks, amongst whatever else you're looking at, is because it certainly has a big, bright future to it.
Well, this big circle that we have around here is actually talking about the medical billing. When we see revenue cycle or we see revenue cycle management, I mean, these are big numbers here.
Well, and 75% of chief financial officers, that could be the doctor or the doctor's wife or the office manager in there, they're looking to leverage outsourcing. In other words, folks, that's the big move for a lot of companies. Don't try to do everything yourself. If you're not an expert in a particular area, just outsource it to somebody who is. And then more than 90% of independent physicians plan to outsource at least part of their revenue management. Well, folks, that's what we are involved in. That's what you would be involved in if you got involved with us, is helping the doctors with their revenue management. Any money that's coming into the doctor from insurance companies, patients, government agencies, that's what we work with, and that's what we are helping with. So, wow, again, 90% of them want to outsource that. That's good for us.
Yeah, you bet. And that's what a lot of people are still asking. Is this a valid thing? Is the market too saturated, or there are not enough doctors that are going to want to outsource their medical billing? Patrick, you and I were just talking right before we got on the air today, basically saying how we've seen the increase of our licensees. More demos are coming through, and we're starting to see more of those demos actually converted into new clients for our licensees. We're starting to see that actually increased here in 2018.
Yeah, Eric, I know that, as our director of research and development, of course, you're always looking at all that's going on behind the scenes with our licensees. And that's one of the things you're involved in, is kind of helping and overseeing that whole demo process. So basically, that means, folks, that when you get involved with American Business Systems, we help you to show the doctor what you have by actually doing a demo of our system, our cloud-based system. The reason we do that is well, Eric, the doctors just love to see what's the latest technology, don't they?
They do. They love to see what the new and I tell you what, when they do see the new technology, they are left sometimes speechless, and a lot of times we see them wanting to absolutely just move forward. So we're excited about what we're seeing.
You just told me recently, Eric, that you were doing a demo with a licensee for their doctor, and that doctor had said he could only spend about 20 minutes, and then he
Yes.
looked up and it was like much longer than that when he got through. He couldn't believe it.
Almost at the top of the hour. Yeah, it was kind of funny, but once you got those doctors in, and you know what, we were selling him his money. We weren't selling him the software. We were just letting him know and seeing how we can help increase his cash flow. And that's why, again, 90% of the doctors are trying to look to outsource their billing. And we have a very specific way. All right, so let's get back to the folks here, Patrick. Okay, so are you qualified to own your own business? The first question anybody needs to be asking, are you doing your own due diligence? Now, Patrick, I'm gonna close this screen down. I'm gonna stop showing the screen. I just want you to talk to folks. What does it mean to do due diligence?
Well, it's just as it sounds. You're doing the diligence that's due to looking at an opportunity, and whether or not it's right for you, whether or not it has a future, or whether or not it has a good company behind it, a history, all the things that have to do with whether that business would be a good investment on your part. And believe me, if you hadn't heard that term, you'll hear it from your relatives, friends, even maybe your own doctor, that, boy, just be sure and do your due diligence. That means look at all those things that are involved in making sure that business is right for you. That's an evaluation process is what it is, evaluating whether or not the money is worth the investment, for example, the examination and carefully of every detail that you can of the business, the value, whether or not that investment is worth what they're asking for it. And folks, our investment is fairly low. If you go out on the websites looking for franchises, for example, which is where most people find us, even though we're technically not a franchise, we're a licensing situation, we are one of the lowest investments that's out there. $27,000 nowadays is nothing compared to what you can spend if you try to open up even a sandwich shop, I don't know about you, Eric, but I've made sandwiches, haven't you? Wouldn't you know how to open up a shop making sandwiches? But people spend, $100,000 plus just because it's a proven system. Well, that's what we have, is a proven system. So as far as the value is concerned, it's always about, am I going to get out of this business at least what I put in it, and how quickly can I get that return on investment?
You bet. And then you're looking at the potential. So here's one thing I like to share with everybody that's on here. Everybody's working with a business coach here at American Business Systems. And we as business coaches, we want to try to get you as much information as possible so that, again, that you make the wisest decision based upon your own personal due diligence. Yes, we're here to answer every question. We are here to educate you. And I think that's one of the things you're going to find out about American Business Systems. We're not right out of the gate asking you for money. We are here trying to help you with your evaluation. And I know, Patrick, a lot of things that we show, and obviously those that are on the webinar today are doing their due diligence and they are evaluating. And so we appreciate the questions that come in. You ask Patrick and me, sometimes hard questions. We love that. And that really shows us what you're doing, because that in turns tells us how well you're going to do after you become an ABS licensee, or
Exactly. Yes.
you're also going to find out how good you're going to be in any business when you do this
Right.
type of work.
Yeah. It's a part of the process of qualifying you. When we talk to you and you are asking us questions, that's letting us know that you are doing your due diligence. And that's what we look for, is people who are prepared when they leave that training class to go out and get that first client, in the first 30 days or so.
So part of your due diligence is going to be researching the business and asking about the company. Patrick, I mean, obviously for here at ABS, I think it's does very well to know that your family, ABS, has been around for 24 years.
Yeah, that's hard to believe for me sometimes, Eric, because I remember yesterday practically when my wife was actually getting into the medical billing at the very first. And I mean, this was back in 1987 or so that she got involved in it. And as soon as she did, I realized that she had found something very special. The cash flow for the doctors was increasing. Our cash flow as a family was increasing. And man, it just went, oh, yeah, there you go. There's a picture of my wife, Linda, there in the middle. And by the way, that's my son, Adam, who's now the president of the company. He's 42 years old. And Sarah, my daughter, she doesn't want you to know how old she is. But anyway, the point is she's right in there with him, helping us with the business. And it's still a family business. The only person that doesn't really do anything in the business right now is Linda, because we sold all of our accounts at one point and got her out of the billing business so we could focus on supporting the people that we were training to do the business with us.
Yeah, so when you're looking at a business, and it's one that's been around, I'm going to go back to this one here just real briefly because it shows the longevity of it. But talk about that, you, Patrick, kind of set up these three tiers: live training, lifetime of support, and 100% money back guarantee. So those three components you don't often find with a lot of other companies. What they get for training may be online training, but talk about the importance of the live training workshop.
Yeah, these three things, by the way, that I came up with for our company was because there were other companies. Eric, back when we started this, back in our first licensing, I think was in 1994, there were other companies out there. I'm talking about a half a dozen or so that were doing some kind of support and training for people who wanted to get into medical billing. It was a big deal back then in the early 90s. And
Right.
none of them had live training. And I said, you know what? The only way people are going to learn any business is to get their hands right on top of the laptops that we bring into the classroom and learning it from scratch. Live, meaning they have an instructor who's teaching the class. We always have instructors who are licensees of ABS, who've been in business for several years and have proven that they can be successful in it. So they're the ones that actually teach the class too. You can't get that talking to somebody over the phone who's maybe reading a script that was written for them, right? That's just not the same. Lifetime support, I came up with that because we do make money on all of our transactions that go through our system. So there's a few pennies that we're making, not royalties that our licensees pay, but our technology partners are sharing the profits with us. And so we can give lifetime support. Why not? As long as they're making money, we're making money. It's the American way, right? And then last but not least, 100% money back guarantee. Folks, I do that because I don't want you to come down here to training and somewhere at the end of the week you go, okay, I'll give it a try. No, we want you to know for sure that this is really something you want to do. And if it's not, then we'll give you every penny back of the money that you invested. Now, you have to pay for your travel here and a hotel, of course, for the week. But that could be less than $1,500 total. That's a small amount of money, Eric, when you think about it, to invest and examine and really do your due diligence on a company. So consider it as part of your due diligence still. At the end of the week, if you don't like what you've seen, just ask for your money back.
You bet. And also part of the whole due diligence part about asking about the company, because I think someone asked me just the other day about, are there any third-party people that can actually verify American business systems? I told them the only one I know of is really the Better Business Bureau, and they're kind of old school anyway, but people still rely upon information from the BBB.
Well, we've been here. My wife and I've lived in Fort Worth our whole lives, and so the Better Business Bureau has had us listed there for many, many, many years. And as you can see, we have the highest rating that they give to any company, an A plus. Now, folks, that doesn't happen with a company that's not doing what they say they're going to do, right? That will get back to the BBB and other online places that review companies, and it will hurt you. So we've just tried to do exactly what we say we're going to do. It's not that we haven't had any problems at all, but when any question comes up from somebody that's in our system, we work with them to work through that and solve that problem so that they don't give us a bad rating.
Now, you mentioned earlier that we have some licensees that actually come and teach the training class, but then on top of that, you actually have some pretty high-level people here that are actually on sort of our board of directors or advisory board here. You mean you've had several conversations with Dr. Vicki Reckner and some other ones with these other two people, Terrence and Jeanette. You've got some pretty heavy hitters.
Yeah, you'll find these folks listed on our website, folks. I forget where it's at there, but if you search around, you'll see that we've got a doctor, Dr. Vicki Reckner. We also have a certified coder who's on our board of directors, as well as Terrence Patterson, who has all kinds of letters after his name that I have no idea what they mean, but it looks very important.
Yeah, but these folks actually help us evaluate some of the new technologies and some of the things that we hear about, and a lot of feedback. So this is what you're getting from the company. So when you are doing your due diligence, whether it's with American Business Systems or any others out there, make sure that the company in and of itself is actually involved in what they're actually promoting. Let me explain that. American Business Systems does nothing and has done nothing except medical billing, and we've got people involved in medical billing. We don't resell or do any other business opportunities or franchises. This is what we do. This is what makes us so special and can be as good as we are, especially with our licensees here. All right, another way of doing some due diligence, Patrick, is looking at the potential market for your services. I mean, obviously, I think one time you mentioned, I'm gonna pull your history bank back here. I think one time you said you ran across a franchise called Gum Busters.
I forgot all about that, but yes, it was about a $40,000 investment, I think. No, maybe 30. Anyway, this was years ago, and they taught you how to scrape gum off the bottom of chairs and tables at restaurants and movie theaters.
And I guess there's always a potential market for that service.
Yes, I'm sure there's a need for it, but wow, how much do you need to learn about scraping gum off of something, you know? They had a week's training in Florida that you could fly down to and learn about it. Well, needless to say, that franchise no longer exists, but it shows you that there are companies out there who can come up with something that sounds like it's a valid service, unlike medical billing. Now, folks, Eric's showing the first of several slides here that we're going to show you about who can be your clients, because look, every one of these specialties are prospective clients for you in your area. So just go to Google and Google out, some of the specialties that you see listed here on these slides. By the way, we've got a handout, don't we, Eric, that you're going to give at the end?
Yes, I'm going to give that handout out here at the end, and we'll make sure that we get that out. One of the things I wanted to mention before I go to the next slide here is a lot of people think, well, I probably just need to work with one doctor, and they probably are brand new. Or let me tell you, I did a demo this last week, Patrick, with an urgent care group. There were 5 doctors on that demo. We were presenting iClaim and EMRX for that whole total urgent care group. So what I want to say here is, folks, raise your horizons up a little bit more than just looking for a single doctor who may just be getting started. We show our licensees how to actually go after real type of businesses, urgent care groups, geriatric groups, it just
sleep study doctors,
yeah,
durable medical equipment.
Yep. I mean, pain management is a great one. Here's I don't know if we listed that one here in this one, but mental health is a great one. I did a demo for a mental health group, 2 mental health groups over the last few weeks here. So, folks, there is so much out there that you can go after. So, as you're kind of looking at what does my potential market look like with my potential services, it truly is wide open here.
Yeah, there are dozens and dozens of specialties out there that you can do the billing for, folks. So I would say it's almost an unlimited market, wouldn't you, Eric? A million medical providers in the United States, that's plenty for everybody to have a handful and make a six-figure income.
You bet. All right, I'm going to take, we're almost at the bottom of the hour. I want to see what we can look at some questions here. Phil, you asked the question earlier about the calendar for the fall. I would suggest that you get back with your business coach, because Patrick and I don't have those training dates right in front of us. But the next one we have is obviously next week. The one after that is April the 30th through May the 1st, and we'll have that up there. Past that, I don't even know. April, you asked the question, what is the next training after the March training? That is April the 30th through May the 4th. So put that down in your calendar there. Phil says, once I go through training and hopefully hire someone to assist me with the billing, do they need to fly out to the training also, or do you have some sort of online training options for new employees? I think we're going to show them that there when we get to the licensee support site. What about we'll show them that when we get there?
Yeah.
All right. Let's jump back into our questions here. Patrick, so it begins with researching the business. Ask about what makes the company and the product services unique. Patrick, I think I'm going to close down this screen again. I want you to talk to folks to let them know the uniqueness of our billing platform being its own clearinghouse, and I'll kind of help you out through that. But I think this is one of those one-on-ones that we really need to drive the point home that we really do have something unique here.
Yeah, well, one of the things that's unique, of course, is that it is a cloud-based system. Now, there's lots of cloud-based software that's out there, folks, but not a lot of it is 100% HIPAA compliant, as secure as ours is. We have it on redundant servers in different parts of the United States, so that if one electrical grid went down, for example, the other one just kicks in, and the users it's almost transparent. That's pretty unique because, folks, there are companies, believe it or not, who are still training and teaching people to use medical billing software that's server-based. That means it comes on a CD. This seems hard to believe, doesn't it? It comes on a CD. Our grandchildren are going to be saying, "What is a CD, Papa?" It's a disk that goes in your computer, and they actually load the software on your hard disk, and all of the data for the patients is stored on your hard drive in your computer or in the doctor's computer. Folks, there's all kinds of reasons why you don't want to do that from a HIPAA privacy standpoint, but that's just one of the ways that we are unique. Another way, of course, is that we have our own built-in clearinghouse, as Eric is illustrating here. That is, we have a claims scrubber and submissions motor engine built into our software. In other words, it doesn't go to a third party. Other companies will have you do the claim on your computer and then forward it to a third party called a clearinghouse, which is just a company that scrubs it, makes sure that it's clean, and will go through and then submits it to the insurance companies. We do that ourselves, so basically the buck stops here. That's why, though, we have a less than 2% rejection rate on our first claim submissions. Then we have our electronic medical record system, which is not a third-party software that's kind of tied in with ours. It is a part of ours. We just call it iClaim for the billing section and EMRX for the electronic medicals, but they're all in one system. They all run on any computer, under any platform, using any browser that's out there, including on your iPad, which is what the doctor used to use the electronic medical record system. And then last but not least, we have a patient portal that is unlike anything you've ever seen. Even if you have one for your own doctor, you've not seen what this one does. Eric, this one has so many advanced features, I don't even know where to begin.
Well, let's talk about one of them, and let me see if I can get to that one real quickly. But just to kind of wrap up, folks, imagine that you're dealing with one company with one group of engineers that are working on all the pieces of software. Nothing's going to break down. You can't blame claims not going through because you're using some other clearinghouse. One of the things that was unique that I love to be able to do these demos because I get to learn firsthand some things that I get to hear directly from the doctors. And one of the office managers was telling me that just 2 weeks ago, because they were working with a third-party clearinghouse and they were unable to do some of the things that our system can do, they got 80 claims rejected. Now, that's a boatload of claims that somebody's got to completely rework. And once we were to show them what our system is able and capable of doing, they knew that we had a very unique process. So as you can kind of see here, imagine that you as a patient can log into the patient portal up there on the left-hand corner. That information gets funneled to the doctor. You actually go see the doctor. The doctor gets through with seeing you as a patient, and then automatically it ends up in the iClaim billing system, which you as now a medical billing company can take it, process it, run it through the clearinghouse. And as you can see, the only other place it can go is directly to the insurance companies. So we've lowered the potential rejections that could happen. And since we're going directly to the insurance companies, we're seeing doctors getting paid within 7 to 10 days. That is so unusual out there in the marketplace. Even if you double that, that is still unusual. So let's say that you over promised or under promised or whatever, and you said it's going to take me 14 days to get you paid, but then the doctor starts getting paid in 7 to 10. They're even going to be liking you even more. And Patrick, here's some of the unique things about the system. They can run their system from an iPad, do all their drawings and everything else on it, do all of their e-prescriptions from here. It's all run through a certified platform, the nation's largest e-prescription network, which is called SureScripts. The doctors can do all of their stuff on iPhones, through iPads, fill the patient's prescriptions. And even, yes, the doctors can actually do now what would be controlled substances. And once you couldn't do that, you could only e-prescribe out like vitamins and antibiotics and stuff like that. But now they can actually do that. And I wanted to get to this one because this is one of the unique things about our platform that actually comes with the entire platform. That, Patrick, you know that there are some franchises out there that are just selling this, what we're looking at right here. You want to explain what this is here?
Yeah, well, they refer to it as telemedicine. We just call it an e-visit because electronically, you basically, through the patient portal, set up the appointment with the doctor, and at a particular time, an agreed time, the doctor and you are there on video talking with one another and even typing into a text box there and sending documents to one another. It's just the most incredible. It is the future, Eric. This will save a lot of people time and money, especially elderly people who can't get out to go see the doctor. Now they can just arrange for an e-visit.
Yeah, and they can communicate by typing, by talking. And we're seeing more and more insurance companies actually paying for this because it's actually saving the doctor money, it's saving the patient money, and it's just a wonderful process. So again, I'm gonna pause this real quickly and kind of go back to this part of it right here. And that's just to show you, because our EMR system and our patient portal is all part of our cloud system, that gives us that access. So just like Patrick and I are on video right now, that would be very similar to what you would be experiencing as a patient there.
This is Star Trek. You know, back in the 60s, we saw bones run over this patient with just a little device, and all of a sudden they were healed. Folks, that is the future, and we are as high tech as it gets when it comes to our software system, because you have to. In today's world, you have to stay up with what's happening and what's changing out there. And for the last 20 years, we've been able to do that.
All right, so let's jump on ahead. Let's get into about asking about success of current business owners. Now, Patrick, I know a lot of people always ask this question, so let's just get this off the table. They always want to know, what is the failure rate? So let's deal with that, and then we'll talk about our successful current owners, because you like to talk about answering that question.
Yeah, well, it's real simple. Failure rate in any business, of course, runs by a percentage of some kind, right? We tell people, look, there are 100% of our licensees who are successful if they follow our system. Now, Eric, as you know, we've had people leave our training and go out and try different things that we didn't even cover in the training, different ways of marketing and so forth. They spent a lot of money. They wasted a lot of time on things that just do not work. And so if you do that, we take no responsibility, right? It's all up to
Right.
you to follow what system we've come up with. Folks, we've perfected this over 24 years. So our goal is to have every person who leaves that training class get that first client in as short a time as possible. And if they do what we teach them to do to get referrals from that doctor, they will continue to grow their business without having to do any direct marketing. It'll all be through the warm market of the doctor themselves.
You bet. As a matter of fact, I was talking with someone yesterday that actually spoke to one of our licensees, and he was telling me that licensee got her first referral from her hairdresser, and then that one was her first client. I said, from a hairdresser.
Yeah.
So that's where you're going to learn the techniques from us of what to say, how to do some due diligence on finding doctors that are out there, because folks, people know other people. So we want to give you an opportunity to speak to these successful licensees. We've got another list of folks that you can talk with, some that have been with us for almost 15, 20 years, some of them for less than 2 years. So you can take a wide bandwidth here whenever it comes down to actually talking to some of our successful licensees.
Yeah, these are real people that you can, I mean, some of them have opened up offices. You know, they've gotten large enough to where they wanted to open a commercial office and rent some space and put some employees in. And those folks, if you ask them nicely and plan ahead, they will even let you come by and visit them there in their office. So yes, be sure and get back with the person who invited you to this webinar and just ask them for a list of references that you can call and talk to. Because look, Eric and I could say anything, right? We've been in this business for many, many years. We know the answers to all your questions, but the point is, you don't want to hear from us. You want to hear from people who've really been through the training, graduated, got their business started, and now they're out there successful in their business. So we do those interviews, of course, from time to time right here. I did one just a couple of weeks ago, and we'll continue doing those as licensees allow us to do that. I mean, it's just a volunteer thing, but yeah, call them.
And on our web YouTube channel, so folks, if you want to take that down, just go to youtube.com/user/YABS. Or if you remember, you can get to that through our website. There's a little link up there that shows YouTube. Go in here. There are interviews. You can just type in the search bar and just type in interviews, and that'll filter down all the particular interviews that Patrick has done. Some of those folks that you saw in there, some we've had to add because we've got more and more that we've done here lately. So feel free to go check this out. And again, our YouTube channel is just chock full of information. Training. We talked a little bit about training, so we'll kind of go through this pretty quickly because I know that we're kind of getting up. We want to make sure that we get through all the questions and then get to everything else we want to go to. But this is a picture of our live training course. I mean, this is a live training workshop.
Yeah, Eric, let me talk about this just a little bit while you maybe glance at some of those other questions. I see the question box filling up here, so we want to try to get to as many of those as we can. But folks, that image that you just saw was of one of our recent training classes. And I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of those folks had the laptops open in front of them. Those laptops are our laptops that we bring in. And day one, you are actually on our system across the internet through the Wi-Fi connection there in the hotel, actually doing medical billing. It's that easy and it's that quick for us to show you how simple our system is. And people love this part of it, Eric. They go through this and really, really get excited about how easy to use our system is. You hear the term user-friendly, folks. Wait till you see this. It's much easier than you think. I tell people it's not brain surgery, even though you may be doing billing for a brain surgeon. So the training is a huge manual, by the way. There's a student manual that is, I don't know, it's probably 2 inches thick. We go through every page of that manual during that week because we've got a lot of topics that we cover. I think there's 26 different tabs inside that manual, and we go through every one of those, folks, in that 40-hour week. It starts at 8 in the morning, ends about 5 or 5:30, depending on how many questions there are and so forth. But folks, it's a lot of material. Then, as far as ongoing training, it doesn't stop with our 1 week's live training workshop here. After that, folks, we do webinars on just about a weekly basis now, Eric. And look, these are some of them. We just took some screenshots of some of the ones that we've done. I think there's 2 or 3 more screens here Eric's going to show you, just to let you know that we've covered a lot of material in this past year. And that is an ongoing training for you and anybody that works for you at no additional cost, folks. That's included in our lifetime support. And we've been doing that now for about 15 years, at least, these live webinar training classes. There's just always something new to learn. We recover things that we've covered in the workshop, sometimes recover those with new information. So we keep you up to date with what's going on. And there you go. There's another page. There's a lot that we cover. So the training is always very important in this kind of industry, folks, and we stay up with that.
You bet. I'm going to ask a couple of questions here, and then some of these I'm going to have address you to contact your business coach to ask some of the questions back to you. So Kenny, I see your question there. I'll help answer that question offline on you. And then Khalid, do the same thing, because that's some of those great questions that you can ask directly to your business coach that you can ask there. Ronald, you're asking the question, do you have any licensees that build for assisted living and long-term care facilities? And the answer to that is yes. Now, some of those are going to roll over from, I'm going to kind of get technical here for Ronald's sake. Some of those are going to switch from a CMS 1500 form claim to a UB04 claim. And so we've got the capability, and there are some people that are doing that. So again, get with your business coach on that. April is asking, has there ever been a time in the past few years when the entire system has gone down? Patrick, you want to answer that about the cloud-based system?
Well, I mentioned earlier why ours does not go down. I didn't say that at the time, but the reason is I use the term redundant. That means that it's actually running on different servers in different parts of the country. If one server did go down, the other one would kick in, and again, it would be transparent to the user. So the answer is no. Now, if you wanted to know a figure, it's something like we have uptime of about 99.98%. So if we do take the system down on purpose, we let you know that ahead of time. It's usually about 3 a.m. in the morning when people are not supposed to be on it, but you're given plenty of warning, and that's down for a very short period of time if we're updating something behind the scenes.
April, you're also asked, is the system only compatible with iPads or Android and Chrome smart books? The great thing about it is any web browser will work, except for Windows. What's that one called? I can't remember what the browser was.
Internet Explorer.
Internet Explorer. Yeah, that's the only one that it doesn't work well with. But Safari, Chrome, Firefox, any of those out there, it's a browser-driven web platform that you can work with. So it's all workable out there. So there's really nothing much to worry about that. All right, let's get back to some of our questions, and I'm kind of still monitoring some of those other questions on the side. But what about ongoing cost and fees? Now, Patrick, you mentioned earlier that there are no franchise fees or royalty fees, but what about ongoing cost and maybe update fees or anything like that?
Well, here's the nice thing is there are zero fees. That is, we don't have any ongoing. You never pay ABS another penny, folks, after you've gone through our training. And even though we have lifetime support, it's because, again, we make a few pennies on each transaction that goes through the system from our technology partners. Let me emphasize that you don't send us any money and don't owe us any money at all for users, for upgrades, updates, backups, nothing. You never pay anything for as many users as you want to put on the system. That's up to you as the administrator of the system. So that's a good thing to know. I didn't want to nickel and dime people to death. And so I just said, folks, there's never going to be another charge that you're ever charged from us.
There you go. All right, marketing strategies for obtaining clients. Patrick, I know this is a big one. We've done entire webinars on marketing strategies. So I'm going to just throw this up here real quickly. There's some of the things that you've already got that is discussed in that week of training, which is a lot of what we're talking about or looking at right here.
Well, there we go. It just took a second to come up there, but this is some of the folks. We've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars developing our professionally designed and written marketing materials. The reason for that is because if you go out to a doctor's office with something you came up with on your computer and printed it out on your inkjet printer, it doesn't look professional. It has to be 1,000% professional looking. So you can see that all of our marketing materials there, all the flyers, for example, about all of our services, they all look and have the same feel, so that it does look like you're a professional company. You just didn't come up with this off the top of your head. We have trade show displays that you see in the bottom right-hand corner. We have flip charts, we have books, we have postcards, and then we have this book here that you can actually have your name put on the front cover. That's right. It's written by me and Dr. Vicki Rackner, as Eric pointed out earlier. This book, folks, is on Amazon right now for $24.95. You can have your name printed on the front cover, on the inside title page, and at the end of the what we call there the introduction as your contact information. And that is those books will cost you, our printing cost on those about $4 a copy. So you get an initial supply of these books, of course, to start with, and can order those as you need them. Unbelievable tool, Eric, to build credibility and to have your name right there on the cover with a doctor.
And here's a good thing about it is, and someone brought this up to us once before, the forward, we already have a forward that is ready for you to go. But if there are some things that you want to say personally after you've read the book and you want to rewrite the forward, we actually can do that for you. So if you would like to do your own forward to the book, you're just going to work with support, make sure that everything's matching on the inside there, but it's from your own words. Or you may want to tweak a few things here that's more personalized for you.
Right.
Feel free to do that, folks. This is for you as a tool. Patrick, this was ingenious that you came up with this, because truly it puts somebody in a subject matter expert position as soon as they get out of training. Because absolutely, this puts people, they can hand this book to the doctor, and in the training, they're going to be taught how to mark certain areas in that book that's actually going to help that doctor get to those areas a little bit quicker.
Yeah, now we don't go into detail, of course, on every webinar about everything, but I do want to point out that Dr. Vicki Rackner has been working with us now for about the past 4 years. And Eric, every licensee who comes through our training becomes a partner, a colleague of Dr. Vicki Rackner. You'll watch many training sessions by her through the years. And sometimes she even pops in there at our live training via, Skype. And so you become a partner with a doctor. Now think about how that positions you out there in the marketplace.
You bet. Now, if that's not good enough, now we've already mentioned this earlier to some degree, but we're the only group of people that will provide live demonstrations for you. Whenever you might get hooked up with another business opportunity in medical billing, they leave you to do your own demonstrations. That's not us. We partner with you, and we are collaborating with you with your doctor. Now, the good thing about it is we never mention anything about ABS. So let's say we see Kenny's on here, or April is on here today. We would be addressing that we're part of April's support team or Kenny's support team. And that's how you introduce us. And we go through the entire demonstration as if you're bigger than just working out of the spare bedroom of your home. Folks, this really, again, separates you from any other perspective out there. This is helping you get clients.
Right.
All right. What about territories, Patrick? I think territories is as big as they want it to be.
There are none. That's right. Well, there is. It's the United States of America, including Alaska and Hawaii, by the way. So you can actually have a doctor in your own area that you do business with, and that doctor knows a doctor in another state. Fine. We're going to show you how to sign that other doctor up without ever having to travel or see that doctor in person. Many, many licensees have said, I've been doing the billing for Dr. So-and-so for years and have never met him because he's in another state. So we're going to show you how to do that. You don't want any territories, and there are none. That's why we don't have any slides saying anything about that, because there just aren't any. Did we spell territories right? For some reason, that didn't look right. Okay.
All right. What about the income potential? I'm going to kind of go through this pretty quickly because we're coming up on the top of the hour. We want to kind of go through some more of the questions, but some of you have seen this before, and I'm just going to step through this real quickly. And folks, you can do this, and we'll even show you how to do it online through our website. So if you took one doctor, just a regular family doctor who's going to see about 20 patients a day, just think in your head that each one of those is going to get that doctor reimbursed about $100, whether it's a cash pay or whether it's coming from the insurance. It's about $100, which means that the doctor is making about $2,000 a day. If you take that and you just do the math yourself, if you're going to do 6%, you're going to charge a doctor 6% of that money, your average earnings on a typical day is going to be about $120 per day, working for less than 90 minutes a day. So let that kind of sink in. You're working for a doctor, doing their billing, working about 20 claims, and you're charging 6%, which is going to bring out to about $120 a day for you. So your average earnings per week is going to be about $600 per week times 52 weeks out of the year. That one doctor can generate about $31,000 a year for you. Now, again, I'm going to show you on our website where you can go. You can go to our website at absystems.com. Go to that middle part right there where it says income potential. Click on that. That'll get you to our medical billing income calculator. Put those same numbers in. One doctor seeing 20 patients at 6% of $100. There's your income potential. There's where you can kind of take a look and take a peek at what potentially what kind of income you can make there. So again, we've got all of that there. Now, obviously, these are just projections, but typically, Patrick, I mean, most doctors are seeing more than 20 patients a day. We know that.
Yeah, these are very conservative numbers.
Yeah. All right. I know the last thing we want to do is get to support. Support is our licensee support site. Now, Patrick, kind of talk about this, why kind of switch gears here, because I'm going to actually go out there live for us.
Yes, folks, we just wanted you to have a real glimpse into what we really do. So Eric is actually going to go live on the web right this moment to our licensee support site. We refer to this as the ABS LSS. And folks, this has more information on it than you could ever imagine. Here he is live. And Eric, I guess you've already signed in because it does have a sign in, of course. And look at all the different topics that are under just the top row of menu choices here, folks. It's just incredible. Eric, that is, yeah, he's going to some of the pages there just to give you a glimpse that there's videos, various webinars. There's even audio files that you can download. There's documents, all the contracts, every marketing piece that we come out with that's new is on here. Folks, you can browse through this thing as soon as you sign up, even before you come to our live training workshop. We give you access to this and let you just go through there and see all that you want and learn anything that you want even before you come here. Now, there's nothing required that you have to go through. It's just that we're going to give you access to this because we want you to see all the stuff that's available out there. It's just incredible.
Yeah, so folks, I can't remember if it was Stephen or somebody that was asking the question about if you ever need to hire someone, this is where you'll take them. You'll take them over to here, show them the iClaim area. It'll work you through of what they need to know. So to answer your question, they don't have to come back to our live training. We have all of the training that you're going to need for all of your employees. And like I showed you right here, if you're going to hire sales reps, many licensees have utilized sales reps or reps to help grow their business. We're going to show you how to hire them and train them. And then we've got training modules for the sales reps as well. Right. So we've got every tool, the practice analysis under here, proposals, service agreements, just anything that you need whenever you leave training. You're not left with just that 2.5-inch thick book. You have a complete library of information that is at your fingertips here.
In fact, Eric, I don't know if we've said this before, but there is a recorded session on this site that covers everything that's covered in the live training workshop. Now, the reason we
Correct.
have you come to the live training workshop is because we want you to hear the questions from other people. You have some hands-on exercises and so forth. But the point is that when you get back from training, you can cover everything that you've covered again because it's already recorded out here. And we update those as we change our training. And so it's an evolving thing, and it keeps you up with what's going on in the industry.
You bet. And again, so not only do you have a licensee support site, and then Patrick, I know that on every Friday you're practically doing another webinar for just our licensees, just to get some more information out there. Again, we're going to conclude with the money back guarantee. So I'm going to kind of let you talk about this one more time. I'm going to put this up here because, again, I don't know of any other any other business opportunity or franchise out there that offers any type of money back guarantee.
Yeah, it's unheard of, Eric, and people think I'm nuts for doing this. They say, well, couldn't people come to your training, get all the information, and then get their money back and then go back and start their own business? Well, theoretically, they could. We haven't had that happen but a handful of times in our entire history as a company. So I am not worried about that. What I'm worried about is that people come and really do feel like this is something that they can do, that they want to do it. After we show them all of our proprietary information, all the secrets we have of how to market to doctors, I want them to feel comfortable. If they don't, please ask for your money back, because I don't want anybody out there struggling with something that they really didn't want to do. So that's the reason we do this. And again, it's only happened a handful of times. So, Eric, I have to run. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to let you go. Patrick, thank you for your time. I know that your time is valuable, so thank you. I'll wrap this up. I'll finish up with some of these other questions. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.
All right, bye-bye.
Folks, if you want to come back, yeah, thank you.